My question is in regards to a comment you made on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple years prior, where you called being transgender a sociological contagion and compared trans people to Satanists. To Satanists?
No, I don't think so.
You called being transgender equivalent to participating in satanic rituals in the 1980s. This is a quote.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
You called being transgender and you compared that to satanic rituals that occurred in daycares in the 1980s.
I see. So that's very different than the proposition that you laid before me.
Right. You do have a history of intense anti-trans comments, so I wanted to question you on that. In the United States, trans youth have the highest rates of suicide among any demographic. How do you respond to those who believe your comments have cultivated a climate of hostility against trans people and contributed to this alarming rise in suicide rates?
Okay, so first of all, I respond to them like I responded to you by pointing out the falsehood of their question. The question you asked me had absolutely nothing to do with what I said, as you well knew. And the moralizing element of your accusation that constituted the last half of your question is also equally ill formulated. You have no idea what you're talking about. The idea that my comments had anything to do with the hypothetical rise in suicide rates among transgender people is preposterous. And there's also no evidence whatsoever that those suicide rates that you're describing are a consequence of any attitude whatsoever towards their hypothetically transgender status.
Lack of social acceptance, which is definitely cultivated by comments like yours that deny the existence of trans people.
What makes you think you know what you're talking about?
Okay, so this is an interesting layer to the transgender argument that I've actually encountered a lot recently, is they will simultaneously argue we are not mentally ill or they are not mentally ill. But also, if you don't give them what they want, they will kill themselves. Okay? Well, you can't be suicidal without being mentally ill. So you're either mentally ill or you're not, and the answer is that you are mentally ill. Obviously, if you're going to kill yourself, if you're suicidal, you're mentally ill. And furthermore, for some reason, transgenderism is the only mental illness with suicidality that we treat by affirming the mental illness, right? By telling them, yeah, you should, transition. You should cut your genitals off. You should change the chemistry of your body. We don't do that for people who are bulimic, right? They have a very similar mental illness. They have body dysmorphia. Women, anorexic, right? We don't say, yeah, you are fat, and you should continue binging and purging, throwing up your food because you're too overweight. When in reality, they're not overweight at all. There's a mental illness that causes them to perceive their body incorrectly. We don't tell schizophrenics, the voices inside your head are real and you should listen to them, follow their orders and do what they say. We don't tell bipolar people that they should act on their mood swings. We try to suppress, in all other situations, we try to suppress mental illness. If you're schizophrenic, we try to give you medication to suppress the voices inside your head. If you're depressed, we try to suppress your depression with antidepressants. Antidepressant, go away depression, right? If you're bipolar, we put you on medication to suppress your bipolar disorder. If you're bulimic or anorexic, we put you on medication to suppress those mental illnesses, make you feel better, make it go away without telling you that the mental illness you have, you should sort of act on, that it's true, that it's right, because it's not. That's why it's a mental illness.
I cannot understand for a moment.
Lack of social acceptance is a driving force behind trans youth committing suicide. And I'm asking you to explain why you feel it's appropriate to deny the existence of transgender people.
This is what makes me so mad. Nobody is denying the existence of transgender people. What we're denying is the proposition that you can transition your sex. Okay? Men cannot be women. That is a biological fact. The definition of a woman is an adult human female. The definition of a female is a person who falls into the sexual category capable of bearing children and producing ova. You cannot be a woman without being a female, and being a female automatically implies that you are a woman, right? These are inextricably linked. We're not denying that people think they're transgender or that people who think they're transgender exist. We know they exist, right? They're just wrong.
I can't possibly imagine anybody sequencing a collection of questions more cliched, formulaic, and accusatory than the ones that you just managed. You don't have any idea about what you're talking about, and your confidence far exceeds your competence.
I am friends with many transgender individuals.
Damn.
I also don't know who educated you at this fine university, but they're doing a damn dismal job.
Dr. Peterson, I think one of the things at Oxford Union we welcome all kind of questions, and I think I would appreciate if the substance of what she's asking.
There was no substance. You can't answer the substance of a question when you're asked a question with no substance. So,
Denying the existence of an entire community and comparing transgender.
Nobody, if we didn't think they existed, we wouldn't be talking about them, right? People think they're transgender. They're just wrong.
People to participating in a sociological contagion.
they are participating in a sociological contagion, obviously. Why in the world do you think there's been an explosion in prevalence with regards to transgender identification among juvenile women? Why do you think that? Do you know that that's the pattern of social contagions for the last 350 years? You know it's always juvenile women? It was eating disorders, it was cutting, it was the eating disorders were anorexia and bulimia. In Freud's time, it was hysteria.
So I take a lot of issue with you pretending to care about women as an avenue for perpetuating hate towards minority groups. You did this earlier in your conversation with the president, and you're doing it once more. But
you really are something.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, Arushi. We'll go to the next question. Anyone else?
That is so funny. All right, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you thought of this down below. Join the Discord linked in the description if you enjoy having conversations just like this one with other people. Everyone's welcome in the Discord, regardless of whether you love Trump, hate Trump, love Israel, hate Israel. Insert topic here. I think people can be transgender. It does not matter. Everyone is welcome. We want more people who disagree with us in the Discord so that we can get more people in VC debating. So make sure to join there and comment what you thought down below. See you guys.